Hello, my name is Alexei and welcome to my new vlog. In this vlog, I want to talk about Mount Fuji. I will tell you first some facts about Mount Fuji and then about my hike to this mountain. And of course, I will show you some photos of Mount Fuji I have made in the course of time. Mount Fuji is located about 100 kilometers as the crow flies from Tokyo. With its 3,776 meters height above sea level, it is the highest mountain in Japan. Mount Fuji is a volcano. To be more precise, it is a stratovolcano. Do you know what a stratovolcano is, children? A volcano which reaches the stratosphere? Not quite. It just means that a stratovolcano is developed by piled up magma layers. The erupting magma, which is highly viscous, tends to produce steep-sided volcanoes with slopes that are about 30-35 degrees. The viscous volcanic material doesn't flow that far from where it is erupted, so it builds up in layers forming a cone-shaped volcano, known as a stratovolcano. Like our Mount Fuji, which by the way is also an active stratovolcano. Its last eruption was in 1707, and some Japanese volcanologists believe that after more than 300 years, the majestic Mount Fuji is on standby for next eruption. As a place of pilgrimage since ages, Mount Fuji is associated with a deity of the Shinto religion. Konohanasakuya-hime, or shortly Sakuya-hime, is the goddess of Mount Fuji and all volcanoes in Japanese mythology. Shinto shrines have been built on Mount Fuji for Sakuya-hime since it is believed that she will keep Mount Fuji from erupting. However, shrines to her at the volcano called Kirishima have been repeatedly destroyed by volcanic eruptions. She was probably not pleased with those shrines. Many naturally assume as a fact that such an iconic mountain like Mount Fuji would be owned by the state. But the truth is, from the 8th station and upwards, Mount Fuji is the private territory of Fujisan Hongu Sengen Taisha, a Shinto shrine which owns more than 1,300 temples around Japan. Mount Fuji is also known for being home of the warrior culture in Japan. The samurai used the area for training. More recently, military camps from both Japan and US have operated from Mount Fuji. Climbing Mount Fuji is a local affair. Of the circa 200,000 climbers each year, 70% are Japanese, and only 30% are foreign residents and tourists. This shows that the mountain holds a strong cultural importance. It is one of the important national symbols and has inspired poets, writers and painters, like for example the Japanese artist Katsushika Hokusai with his 36 views of Mount Fuji. There are 4 major routes to the summit of Mount Fuji. Each has numbered stations along the way. They are, clockwise starting north, Kawaguchi-go Oyoshida, Subashiri, Gotemba and Fujinomiya routes. Climbers usually start at the 5th stations, as these are reachable by car or by bus. The crater rim is the 10th station on each trail. The stations on different routes are at different elevations. The highest 5th station is located at Fujinomiya, followed by Yoshida, Subashiri and Gotemba. The climbing window for Mount Fuji begins in July 1st each year, when the Yoshida Trail opens, and lasts until September 10th. The other 3 trails open July 10th. During this time, all trails are well serviced by public transport. mountain huts are open, and emergency services and first aid are more readily available. However, as you can guess, for the climbing season 2020, all trails and mountain huts were closed due to COVID-19. Nevertheless, when the trails are open, most hikers try to make it to the peak for the so-called Goraiko. The sunrise viewed from the top of a mountain is referred to as Goraiko, a term which expresses a sense of gratitude for the spectacle. So to do this, most people take a bus to the Yoshida 5th station and start the hike between 8 and 9 p.m. and make the climb overnight. When did I climb Mount Fuji and on which trail? To begin with, Mount Fuji was the second mountain I climbed in Japan. This is important because thanks to that first hike, Mount Fuji became the second hiking opportunity for me. In 2008, when I started my first job assignment in Japan, I lived in a dormitory, or a so-called guest house. In July the same year, my new guest house friends invited me to climb Mount Tonodake in Kanagawa Prefecture. All of us were new to hiking, but we made it to the top. Here we are. When descending Tonodake, we spent a night in a mountain hut, where we met a group of jolly senior Japanese hikers. They told us that it is already their tradition to climb Mount Fuji every year, and they invited us to join them in their next hike in September. Here we are with them in a larger group. From all of us, in the end, Naoki and I have accepted their invitation. And so the hike to Mount Fuji was set. We started around noon from the 5th station of Gotemba Trail. It was September 6 of 2008. Because it was close to the season end, the trail was not too crowded and traffic jams of ascending and descending hikers occurred only 2 or 3 times. As the seniors proposed, we rested for a couple of hours in a hut on the 7th or 8th station and then set off for Goraiko around 3 a.m. However, we saw the sunrise already before reaching the top. The trail itself was not too exciting, but it was interesting to observe the changing landscape, starting with a deciduous forest, going over into bushes and some pastures, and then changing into red Martian-like lava rock. Like others, I made it to the top. Here I am at the Torii Gate at the entrance of the crater area. And this is the crater ridge with its highest peak, Kengamine. This was my hike to Mount Fuji. I thought at that time, there are certainly mountains in Japan which are much more exciting to climb than Mount Fuji. And of course, there were. In good weather and depending on the mountain peak you are standing on, you can see Mount Fuji from as far as 300 kilometers. And so it did not let me go and kept appearing in the landscape when I was hiking somewhere in that 300 kilometers vicinity. My friend Martin and I started joking when again seeing Mount Fuji from some peak. Oh, that mountain again, how boring. It was the #1 mountain of Japan, with all the Japanese hikers pointing at it, smiling and taking photos. But for us, Mount Fuji was already boring. Nevertheless, we also kept on photographing it, as well as us in front of it. Because it stood there calmly with its almost perfect cone shape and dominated the hell out of the landscape. Yes, Mount Fuji was overrun. Yes, it was the hiking Disneyland. But it was already there long before us. I have always been indifferent to Mount Fuji's cultural significance. It was and remains just a mountain to me. However, thanks to Mount Tonodake and later to Mount Fuji, mountain hiking became a part of my life. And I can say what I want, but Mount Fuji is just a really beautiful mountain to look at. I don't need to climb it again, but over time, I've grown to enjoy seeing and photographing it. When I started my recent job assignment in Japan, I was lucky with my apartment location in Yokohama, providing me this interesting vantage point on Mount Fuji. I have photographed it from here in many different colors and moods. Using this vantage point, I was also lucky to capture other interesting subjects as well, like for example this squirrel. Or this carpenter. Or Godzilla. However, I did not go so far yet as to hunt for the so-called Diamond Fuji or Pearl Fuji photos. Diamond Fuji means that you take a photo from a certain place in the morning where you can see the sun rising exactly on top of Mount Fuji, as if it was a gleaming diamond on its head. Pearl Fuji, on the other hand, is the same photo with the moon, which is then a pearl on Mount Fuji's head. And that's it for today. Have you climbed Mount Fuji, and if yes, how was your experience? Please comment. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. As usual, thank you for watching, and see you next time.